Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position on your mat or on a cushion, on a pillow, towel, whatever helps to lengthen the back of your spine and neck, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. If you would kindly, gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is beginner's mind. A quote from Zen Buddhist Shunryu Suzuki is, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." What's a beginner's mind? It's dropping our expectations and preconceived ideas about something and seeing things with an open mind, fresh eyes, just like a beginner. You're experiencing everything as if it's brand new with curiosity and wonder. Legendary yogi B.K.S. Iyengar, who developed his own form of yoga, decades into teaching and practicing, continued to tell his students that he had not yet perfected mountain pose. Think about that. This gentleman lived to his 90s and was doing headstands well into his 80s. He continued to tell his students that he had not perfected mountain pose. Iyengar knew that asserting mastery meant closing the door on growth. So for this morning's pranayama, I'd like to do a breathing technique called Vishama-Vritti, and that's unequal breathing. We're familiar with the Sama-Vritti, which is equal length breathing. So the Vishama-Vritti either extends the inhale or extends the exhale, and we're going to do both. So if we can start with the Sama-Vritti, equal length, and I'll count just to help out a little bit. And then I'll drop off with the counting. And then we're going to do the Vishama-Vritti, extending the inhale first, and I'll do a count for that. And then we'll do the Vishama-Vritti, extending the exhale, and I'll do a count for that. So starting with the Sama-Vritti, I'm going to count to 4. So on the inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to extend the inhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just pause for a moment. And now we're going to extend the length of the exhale. And see if you can feel the subtle differences between the two types of Vishama-Vritti in your body. Just kind of look at it as a student with a beginner's mind, just kind of seeing what it does, if anything. So this will be for the exhale. So we'll start inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to transition into our meditation. And I would like you to continue doing the Vishama-Vritti with the extended exhale. You don't necessarily need to go out to the 8, but what I'd like you to do is visualize when you're meditating and doing this breathing technique is that your core is like a glass or a vessel, and it's filling with water as you inhale. And then when you exhale, that extended exhale, you're emptying that vessel, that glass of water. So you're going to really just stretch out that exhale and empty every single last drop of water from your vessel. So we'll do that. I'm going to go to the mat and do that with you, and then we'll start our asana practice. can return to your normal breathing, and we'll start our asana practice. We'll start off with some head nods and turns just to kind of loosen up around our neck. So we're going to exhale, and gently send our eyes down to the mat or down to our feet. And then inhale, lifting our eyes up toward the sky, just above the tree line. And then exhale, send it back down. Inhale, bring your eyes back up. Exhale, send your eyes back down. Inhale, bring your eyes back up. And then bring your head to a neutral position. We'll turn our head to the left, sending our gaze over our left shoulder. Come back to center. And then we'll turn our head to the right, sending our gaze over our right shoulder. And then inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right, or inhale to the right. Exhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. And one last time to the right. And then back to center. And then we'll do some shoulder shrugs. Just kind of loosening up our shoulders. Gently rounding the shoulders up toward the ears and then sending down toward the mat. And really relaxing as we do this. And then maybe switch directions. And then come back to a neutral spine. Preparing for today's class, I was reading a lot about the beginner's mind. And there was one phrase, and let me preface it by saying, I hope that the student mind, and I'm always a student because in preparing for this class, I'm always a student. I'm always a student of yoga, no matter what. We are sharing the experience together. I don't feel like I'm teaching you, I'm guiding you through this practice, and it is a practice. But one phrase or one comment that really resonated for me when I was researching this is that they likened it to when you're entering your credit card and there's a security check and it says, you check the box, it says, I am not a robot. So that's kind of the mentality. You don't want to go into these poses, like Iyengar said with a mountain pose, thinking, I got this, because that's when things don't resonate with you and don't benefit you as much. So each day, when you come to your yoga mat, come to it with a beginner's mind. That means the curiosity, experiment, just feel what works for you in doing your yoga practice. Again, it's practice, not perfect. So let's do some sun breaths and chest opener. So bringing your fingertips to the side, we lift our hands up overhead with a big inhale. Bringing our palms together, we're going to bring our palms to heart center on the exhale. And then on the inhale, we're going to open our hands like a goalpost, arms, and then bringing them to the back. So we're going to kind of open up our chest kind of pushing our elbows toward the back, bringing our shoulder blades together. And then bringing our hands back together to Anjali Mudra. And then sending them up overhead. And then bringing them down. And just letting them float back down to the mat. So inhale up. Palms come together. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, opening up your chest, nice and wide. Exhale, bringing your hands back together. Inhale, back up over your head. And exhale down. Inhale up again. Palms come together. Exhale, bringing them to heart center. Inhale, opening up your chest, opening up your heart, and opening up your mind. We'll just be open today, open to possibilities. Exhale, back to Anjali Mudra. Inhale, up overhead. And exhale, let your hands float back down to the mat. And one last time, inhale up. Big inhale. Big exhale, bringing down to your heart. Inhale, open. Exhale, bringing back to Anjali Mudra. Inhale, up overhead. And exhale, let them float back down to the mat. And this next one, I'm calling it seated spin. So your fingertips are on the mat. And we're going to do this kind of east, west, north, south kind of twist. So we're on the east, between east, west here. And then we're going to turn to the left and do a north, south. So your torso is turning to the left. Your right fingertips are in front, are between your legs, and your left fingertips are behind your back, but they're the same distance as they were when they were side by, or by your side rather. So then we're gonna twist back to center, east, west, and then twist over to the right, and then back to center, twist to the left, so you're north, south, twist back to center, twist to the right, twist back to center, and one last time on each side, twist to the left, twist back to center, and then twist to the right, and twist back to center. We'll get up onto our hands and knees, coming into tabletop. And tabletop's one of those classics that we go through every week, and you know, I can give you cues and how to do that, but just really kind of look at what we're doing today and kind of pushing down into our hands, creating that space. Fingers are spread wide apart, index finger pointing up to the top of the mat. Just feel how stable you are in that pose. Knees are right below your hips, navel's tucked to the spine. And then we'll go into our cat-cows from here. So we're gonna round our back, exhaling into cat. Inhaling, lifting our head up, tailbone comes up. Sending our gaze straight ahead. And then exhaling, rounding your back. Inhaling, coming up to cow. And just continue on at your own pace and really, really kind of look at and feel what this pose is all about. Flexibility, strength in your core. for those of you who've been taking yoga lessons for quite some time, you may have been noticing things along your journey, strength in areas that weren't strong before, and flexibility that wasn't there before, and maybe balance that wasn't there before. And I'm always kind of in awe when I discover one of those things that I did. I'm like, wow, that never was the way I used to feel. Like when I squat and crumble up papers to put into the fireplace to start a fire in the winter, I'd have to get on my hands and knees because my squat only lasted so long. Now my squat lasts for a very long time. I can easily set up the fire in the squat position with no problem. I'm like, I wonder where, I know where that came from. It came from yoga, but I wonder what poses, besides our squat, really helped to do that. Maybe that's the curiosity, that if you have areas that you want more flexible or more strong, or if you need balance, what pose is really, oh, there's Oscar. And keep going, Oscar, keep going. What poses really help that? We'll come back to a neutral spine with our guest appearance by Oscar. And then we're going to extend our hands out further, kind of toward the top of the mat. And we're going to come into child's pose. So lower your hips to your ankles. And then we're going to come right back up and send our head forward. And we're going to come, when we're in plank pose and we come down to in a chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, we're going to do the knees, chest, chin version. So we have our knees down. We're going to bend our elbows, keep them toward our ribs, come down, chest, chin. And then we're going to push our hands up, come back up, and come back down to child's pose. And then just kind of keep that flow going, come back up, extend our head toward beyond our hands and come down, knees, chest, chin. Elbows tucked to the side, push up, come back up, come back down to child's pose. And then flow back up. Send your head toward the front and come down, knees, chest, chin. And then come back up again. Come back into tabletop. So our wrists are right below our shoulders, the knees are right below our hips. We're going to kickstand our left foot outside of the mat, send our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. Left wrist is right below your left shoulder. And then we're going to sweep our right hand up to the sky, lifting our right leg as we go. So modified side plank. And then come back down, both hand and foot come back down to the mat. We'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, sweeping our hand and our foot up toward the sky. And then come back down. And one last time on this side, sweeping our hand and leg, our foot up. And then come back down. Okay, switch sides, come back to tabletop. And kickstand your right foot out, send your left foot down to the bottom of the mat. We'll sweep our left hand up to the sky, lifting our left foot up as well. And then bring it back down. Inhale, sweep that hand back up again, lifting your left foot up. And then bringing it back down. And then lifting our left hand all the way up to the sky. And then bringing your left hand back down. And send our both knees out to the edges of the mat, one to each side. Big toes come together. And then we'll come down to wide-legged child's pose. You bring your chest as close to the mat as you can. And just relax here for a moment. And then we'll come back up to tabletop. Wrists below shoulders, knees below your hips. Tuck our toes under, walk our hands back. Coming into my squat, which has been so beneficial. And then just pushing down to our feet, coming up to mountain pose. And like B.K.S. Iyengar, think of mountain pose as a new discovery. So we're going to start with our big toes pointing toward the straight edge of the mat. Lift our toes up off the mat, bringing them back down, lifting our heels up off the mat, and then bringing our heels back down, just really anchoring into the ground like a mountain anchors into the earth. Our legs are nice and straight and strong, with a gentle bend in the knees, navel's tucked to the spine, shoulders are relaxed and rolled back, chin's ever so slightly tucked toward the chest, creating a nice flat crown of your head. These are the essentials of good posture as well as mountain pose. And good posture is something I'll probably never master. It was something that I have had since childhood, that my mother used to run her finger up my spine to try to get me to straighten up. And you can always tell who, if there's a picture taken of a bunch of people from the back, you can tell who I am, because I'm usually kind of, this is my norm, slumped. So I keep working on that, keep being open to the possibility that someday I'll have good posture. So we're going to sweep our hands up overhead and then send them down to the mat, bending our knees as we go to support our lower back. Just check in with ourselves. And then bring our hands to our shins, sending our spine and the back of our neck nice and long. Gaze is down. And then dropping the crown of our head down towards the mat. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. We're going to bring ourselves up onto our tippy toes and do palm tree. So just coming up on our toes, we're working on our balance. Moving our hands just to really reinforce that balance. We're trying to distract ourselves, but maintain our balance at the same time. If you really want to work on your balance, you move your eyes all around the room, and that really distracts our balance. And then bring our heels back down, hands come back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, lift our hands to our shins, flat back, long neck, and then dropping the crown of our head toward the mat. And inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up, bringing the palms together overhead. We're going to do our supported side stretches, so bringing our hand back down to our right thigh and sliding it down toward our knee, tipping our body toward the right This is, this little sequence here, and you bring your hand back up. We do it every week. So do check that box. I am not a robot. Try to find a little bit of difference in each time you're doing it. Bring your hands back up, right hand comes back down, sliding your right hand to your right knee. Then inhale, back up. Left hand comes down, sliding it down toward your knee. And then bringing it back up. Both hands come back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back, long neck. And then dropping the crown of your head toward the mat. And then we'll inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. And I'm going to turn to the side. We're going to do some leg lifts and then extend them in back of us. So you can use your Anjali Mudra at your heart center to help with your balance, help center you. So we're going to start with the right leg. We're going to lift it up. Get to the point where we obtain a nice, comfortable balance. And then we're going to pivot forward. We're going to try to send our foot as far back as possible. So in doing that, you may want to pivot forward a little bit and extend your foot all the way back and see how far back you can extend. We'll do this a couple times so you can practice this. And we'll come back to mountain pose. Let's try it with our left leg. Lift our left leg up. Obtain a nice comfortable balance feel. And then we're going to send that left foot as far back down the mat as we can. You can land either on your toes or with your foot pivoted 45 degrees. And then come back to mountain. We'll do that again on both sides. Lifting our right leg up. And then send it back as far as it can go. And come back to mountain pose. Lifting our left leg up. And then sending that back as far as we can go. And then come back to mountain pose. Their feet about hip width apart. We're going to have our hands on the backs of our hips for supported back bend. The palms against the hip bones. Roll our shoulders back nice and loose. Tuck our chin toward our chest. And then just drop our shoulders back to the point where you can feel your breath get a little constricted. And then maybe just ease up on that bend a little bit. And that's where the beginner's mind would be, is like, where's that breath where I am shallow versus a nice even flow? And it may be different each time you do this. Okay, and then come back up. How's everyone doing? Okay, in mountain pose, we're going to do that lift leg and extend it to the back of the mat again. So you bring your hands to your heart center, lift your right leg up, and then pivot and bring that foot as far back as possible. I'm going to come into warrior two. So you may want to wiggle your way, see how much distance and space you can create with your legs in warrior two. Warrior two, looking at it, it's like it's a pose. pose that I particularly enjoy. But look what it does for you. It gives you strength in your legs. It's of the three warriors, this is the strength pose. It really grounds you. Your feet are really connected with the mat, with the earth. It's opening you up. You're bringing your chest in line with the straight edge of your mat. So you're opening up your chest, shoulders are rolled back, navel's tucked to the spine, sweeping our hands up. It lengthens us. It's a pose that incorporates a lot of different aspects: lengthening, opening, strength, and grounding. So with our warrior two, we're going to gently send our gaze to our left fingertips. Feel that strength externally and internally. And then send our right hand down as our left hand goes up to the sky for peaceful warrior. And then bring our left forearm down to our left thigh, sending our right hand up to the sky. Send your gaze up to your right hand if that's comfortable. And then we're going to bring our right hand down to the mat, pivot into runner's lunge. With our right hand firmly on the mat, we're going to sweep our left hand up to the sky, sending our gaze up to it. So our eyes following our hand, we're creating stillness in our mind with our focus on our hand. And then bring our left hand back down to the mat. Bring our right knee down to the mat into low lunge. Top of our right foot comes down to the mat. And we'll do some half monkeys. This one we're going to do keeping our hands where they are, and we're going to ride our leg down. So with your leg and your rib cage kind of connected, we're going to straighten our front leg and ride it down. So we're bringing our forehead toward our knee. And then we're going to bend our knee, bring our torso up, and open our chest open and send our gaze and up to the treetops. So we're just kind of opening up our upper part of our body. And then we'll straighten our leg down or out again, bringing our forehead down toward our knee. And then bend our knee, have it come forward, opening up our chest. And one last time, straightening our leg, riding it down, bringing our forehead down toward our knee. And then bringing our knee back up, opening up our chest. We're going to tuck our right toes under, coming back up to runner's lunge. And then we're going to bring our right foot closer to us by maybe a half a foot, and we're going to pivot it so it's at a 45-degree angle. And then we're going to straighten our left leg and bring our forehead down toward our knee. This is pyramid pose. And then bring your left hand to meet your right hand, so that both hands are on the inside of the foot. And we're going to come up into triangle pose. So our left hand stays on the mat. We're going to sweep our right hand up to the sky for triangle pose. And then bring our right hand back down. And we're going to bring ourselves up and come back into warrior two. Now your back leg may need to scoosh down a little bit, going back into that nice opening, strong, grounding, lengthening pose. Sending our gaze to our left fingertips again. Knees bent over your ankle, like I just did. So you can see your big toe. Wiggle your knee so that you can just barely see your big toe. And then we're gonna lower our right hand, lifting our left hand up for peaceful warrior. And then bringing our left arm back down to our left thigh, extend side angle, sweeping our right hand up toward the sky. And then bringing our right hand back down to the mat, pivoting into runner's lunge. And then we're gonna bring our right foot up to meet our left foot, coming into forward fold. And sweeping our hands all the way up with a big inhale, lifting over our head. Hands come together, palms come to heart center, the big exhale. And we'll do that all on the other side. I'm gonna flip sides here. So back into mountain pose with our hands at our heart center, Anjali Mudra. We're gonna lift our left leg up and pivot and extend it as far back as you can go. Our legs are in the lunge position. Just barely see our big toe over our knee. Back foot's at an angle and outer edge nice and snug. And then we're gonna open our chest to the straight side of the mat and then send our arms up, lengthening, creating space. And then gently turn our gaze to our right fingertips. And then lowering our left hand down, raising our right hand up to the sky. And then bringing our right forearm down to our right thigh, sweeping our left hand up to the sky for extended side angle. And then bringing our left hand down to the mat, pivoting, coming into runner's lunge. We're going to plant our left hand on the mat, sweeping our right hand up to the sky. Opening our chest. And then bringing our right hand down. We're going to lower our left knee down to the mat. Top of our left foot comes down to the mat. And then keeping our hands where they are, which is framing our front foot, we're going to straighten our front leg, riding it down, bringing our forehead down toward our knee. And then inhaling, bringing that knee back over our ankle, maybe a little further up, opening up our chest. And then 2 more times, so we'll ride that knee down, or leg down as we straighten it. Bringing our forehead to our knee. Inhale. Bringing our knee over our ankle, maybe extend toward the toes so we can open our chest. And then one last time, straightening out that leg, riding it down. Forehead comes toward the knee. And then coming back up. And we'll come into runner's lunge again, so tucking our back toes under. We're going to then bring our back toes about a foot closer to our front foot and pivoting our foot on the mat. And we're going to do pyramid pose. So again, bring your forehead toward your knee. And then we're going to bring our right hand to meet the left hand. So both hands are in the inner part of our foot. And then planting our right hand on the mat, we'll sweep our left hand up to the sky, coming into triangle pose. And then bring that right or left hand back down. We're in back to runner's lunge. And then we'll bring our left foot up to meet our right foot, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together and palms come to heart center. We'll bring our pinky toes to the edges of the mat. Keeping our hands in Anjali Mudra, we're going to lower our hips down toward the mat. Bending our knees as we go, bringing our torso between our legs, elbows resting on the inner part of our knees. And if you'd like a little bit more stretch, you can take your Anjali Mudra and move it down toward the mat. You feel that gentle push in your knees to open them up further. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat. And we're going to roll down. You have your choice of knees bent, knees straight, or express method. I'm going to do knees bent this morning. Extend my arms out in front of me and slowly lower down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. And then I'm going to bring my knees to my chest and give them a nice gentle hug and rock the knees back and forth. Give lower back a massage. And then I'm going to bring my interlaced fingers behind my head so that they're supporting the just above my neck. My fingers are resting on the sides of my neck. Elbows are out, down to the mat, feeling my shoulder blades come together nice and snug in the mat. And then I'm going to extend my right leg out, flexing my toes up to the sky, and I'm going to have that right foot hover above the mat. My lower back should be guided down toward the mat. Just kind of tuck your navel to your spine so you can kind of connect that lower back to the mat. And then bring that right knee back to knees over, both knees over the chest. And we'll do that with the left side. Extend the left leg out. Toes, both toes are flexed. Lower back snug against the mat. That foot hovering. And then bring that foot back. We'll do that a couple more times on each side. So extending the right leg, slowly with control, really feeling each part of your body as it moves into this pose. And then bring the right leg back. Extend the left leg out. Toes are flexed. And bring the left leg back. Extend the right leg out. And bring the right leg back. Extend the left leg out. Toes are flexed, foot's hovering. And then bring the left leg back. And wait, there's more. So on this next version, you can just continue doing what we were doing. Or if you'd like, we can add a little bit more core building to it by when you send your right leg back, you're going to lift your chest up and bring your nose to your left knee, keeping your arms out as far as they can go to the sides. And then bring your right leg back, bring your head back down. And then we extend the left leg out as we bring our chest up toward our right knee. And I keep flopping my elbows, but trying to keep them open. And then back. We'll do that a few more times on each side, bringing your head back down. Send your right leg out, lifting your chest, nose toward your left knee, elbows out. And then back. Bring your right leg back, head comes back down. And then the left leg goes out, chest comes up, nose toward your knee. And then bring your left leg back one more time for each side. Extend your right leg, bring your chest up, nose toward your left knee. And then bring your right leg back, head comes down. And one last time, extend your left leg out, chest comes up, nose toward your right knee. And then bring your left leg back. Then bring both feet back down to the mat. Have your feet about hip width apart, maybe just a little bit wider than hip width, but not all the way to the edge of the mat. Your hands can be behind your head still, or if you'd like, goalpost arms, or you can bring them alongside of you. We're going to do some windshield wipers. So we're going to exhale, dropping our knees to the right. Inhale, bringing them back to center, and exhale over to the left. Nice even flow. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. And just keep going for a few more. We're trying to keep our hip bones on the mat. Just explore how that feels, what you need to do in order to accomplish that. And bringing your knees back to center. You're going to bring your knees back over your chest. Give them one last nice big hug. And then extend them all the way down to the bottom of the mat to prepare for Shavasana. Your heels go out to the edges of the mat. Feet just flop open. And with your Breath, you could do a body scan, sending the breath from your toes up your legs to your knees, to your hips, to your shoulders. Invite the elbows and the wrists in on that breath, all the way up to your nose. And then big exhale through your mouth. We'll do that again. Inhale. And as you make your journey, just relax everything along the way. Filling up that vessel. And then exhaling through your mouth, emptying that vessel. This morning I have a story for you instead of a poem. A long time ago, there was a wise Zen master. People from far and near would seek his counsel and ask for his wisdom. Many would come and ask him to teach them and enlighten them in the way of Zen. One day, a man came to visit the master and said, "I have come today to ask you to teach me about Zen." The master begins to discuss several topics of Buddhism, but the student interrupts the master in an attempt to impress him and says, "Oh, I already know that." The master then invites the student to have some tea. When the tea was served, the master poured his visitor a cup of tea. He poured and he poured, and the tea rose to the rim and began to spill over the table and onto the robes of the man. Finally, the visitor shouted, "Stop! You are spilling the tea all over me. Can't you see the cup is full?" The master stopped pouring and smiled at his guest. "You are like this teacup, so full that nothing more can be added. Return to me when the cup is empty. Come back to me with an empty mind, ready for filling."